Hi, I am Tanya, a growth marketer at Meritto. I welcome you all to this edition of Illuminate by Meritto. And for those who don't know, Meritto is the operating system for student recruitment and enrollments worldwide. Trusted by over 1,000 plus education organizations, from edtech companies to higher education organizations, Meritto streamlines processes for sales, marketing, admission, finance, and operations team. Meritto empowers 1 billion student engagements annually, processing 100 million inquiries and managing 5 million applications on average. And for those of you who are on to their first Illuminate by Meritto webinar, it's a series of live webinars where we bring you the latest insights, best practices, and technology on everything about student recruitment and enrollment. We host expert speakers from Meritto alongside experts, thought leaders, and decision makers from the world of education, offering unparalleled insights for the education industry. And today we have Babai Saha, who heads the customer success team in the eastern region at Meritto. He brings with him an extensive background in driving customer satisfaction and ensuring seamless experiences for educational organizations across the board. Based in Kolkata, Bapai has been instrumental in shaping the customer success strategies at Meritto, working closely with various teams to help institutions maximize their enrollment growth using Meritto's purpose built solutions. Hi, Bapai.
Hello everyone.
And we also have Antriksh Kumar, Chief Manager of Revenue Operations at Meritto, who is joining us from the heart of Meritto's operations, the head office in Gurgaon. Antriksh has played a pivotal role in ensuring Meritto's customers get the most value from their partnerships. With a sharp focus on data-driven insights and operational excellence, Antriksh has successfully helped the company expand its footprint across diverse regions. Hi, Antriksh.
Hi everyone. So today we are going to have a detailed discussion on ensuring uninterrupted telephony in the between of TRAI's latest guidelines. So thank you, Tanya, for a detailed introduction. So I and Bapai is going to explain that what are the new changes going on in the industry, what are the new regulations which have been launched, what are the best practices of telephony, cloud telephony services, what checklist should be maintained by all the educational institutes before onboarding any telephony vendor, or how compliances can be met. So we are going to have a detailed discussion that why telephony has been disrupted for multiple vendors, for multiple institutions, and how they can have uninterrupted services. So this is the first question. See, you must all be using multiple calling based services to reach out to your students, to connect with the multiple prospects. So what are the ongoing challenges, and as well as what kind of system you are using as of now to connect with the students? Is it a cloud telephony system? Is it a standalone non-integrated system? Is it an in-app calling using personal mobile number, or you do not need the phone calling at all? So please let us know your options.
Right, Antriksh. As rightly mentioned, we have been on ground and speaking to our partners in and out. And this has been a situation wherein TRAI's new guidelines has actually, created a disruption in terms of the overall telephony. Because lack of proper understanding what is the compliance parameters, that is something required in the industry, not specifically in education, but in every industry. And that is where we came up with this webinar, wherein we will be explaining all the guidelines or all the factors that needs to be taken into consideration while you are going ahead with your outreach program through telephony systems. I mean, the list is long. We'll be showing in the subsequent slides for sure, but interesting to see the results now.
Right. So these are the interested results. Bapai,
right.
So I think 0% audience has mentioned that phone call is not required. It means 100% audience, which is sitting along with us, feels that telephony is essential for lead nurturing. That is the first key takeaway. So
absolutely, connecting with the prospect is absolutely probably the most impactful way of nurturing them, because in our industry, where there is a prospect is talking about their education in the future, a personalized counseling discussion creates a long-term impact for sure. No wonder in this result, but surprisingly, the audience who are using a cloud telephony solution is very super high. I mean, very happy to see. Earlier, in my experience, we had seen that the inclination towards personal mobile number wise calling was higher, but people have now migrated to a telephony system, maybe disintegrated, maybe integrated. That is a different story altogether. But all of us collectively understand and establish, in sync with the fact that calling is required, and more so towards the integrated telephony, with an expertise, with the service providers who have the expertise in this. Now with this, Antariksh, I'm much more confident that this webinar is absolutely going to add value to all our partners who have joined this call, because whoever is using the cloud telephony solution must be getting these kind of emailers from government authorities, from the telephony service provider about these changes, right?
Right.
And what are the restrictions?
The most important key takeaway is, out of every 10 audience who have given this poll, 70%, 7 out of every 10 people have mentioned that they are already using cloud telephony with Meritto integrated with the telephony system. That is the first part. Second, only 2 to 3 people have mentioned, I think, out of every 10, that standalone telephony system they are using. So this webinar is very much required to let the audience know that what are the new disruption going on. So additionally, see, the ground coverage, the ground news is very much important. What's going on ground? So we have approximately 17 regional offices in India, where we have n number of sales people, customer success people who are every time connecting with the educational institutes, right from the higher education, college, university, edtech, study abroad, consultant, and across verticals. They have gathered a lot of feedback, as in they were coming up to us that there are a lot of noises on ground, that the people are not able to use the telephony system. There are some sort of new compliances have been launched. So what is the ground news? What are those challenges which have been faced on ground? We are going to uncover in the upcoming slides. And obviously, we will have the solution also. Let's see then that what are the upcoming challenges which have been raised in the ground. Before that, see, just giving you the introduction, that cloud telephony is an essential channel of communication via which an institute can directly connect with the student to build a trust and solve all the queries. See, using email, SMS, WhatsApp, or Amplify, you can nurture leads. You can give the information, you can transfer the information. But to build a detailed trust, to build a human-to-human interaction, telephony is a must. And that's why cloud telephony systems are required in the education industry. Now let's deep dive into the ground challenges. Papai, you are heading our customer success team in the entire eastern region, northeastern region, and you are connecting with a lot of people on ground, and we are seeing a lot of on-ground challenges. And these are the 14 topmost challenges which even you have suggested to us, as per the even the other CS people are suggesting on us that these are the ground challenges. So these top 14 challenges which are active on ground, unsolved since years, and we are here to solve them. So one by one, we are going to uncover them. You can take a screenshot of this slide. This is for the audience. You can take the screenshot of the slide and check that what all challenges you are facing, and we are going to give the solution on everyone. But the major concern is, since years, these ground challenges are active. So the major one is disintegrated standalone telephony system. As we can see in the poll also, out of every 10 people, 2 people have mentioned that they are still using the disintegrated telephony system. Sir or ma'am, please get your telephony system integrated with Meritto. In case the vendor do not have the API capabilities, you can reach out to the customer success manager or sales manager, and we can recommend you the best kind of telephony systems.
So Antariksh, I'll tell you one thing. The list is long, right? And not only in eastern part of India, for that matter, everywhere, the ground challenge is the same. There are, I'll just quickly tell you the challenges briefly. I'm sure our partner institutes are already aware. First is a disintegrated standalone system wherein there is a manual intervention, obviously, right? And that comes with the security, compliance, right? I mean, security has been neglected or probably will be compromised in this case. If you transfer data from a centralized system to your telephony system, correct?
Right.
On-premise telephony hardware is something people used to use earlier. Some people are still using it. Problem here is, unlike a cloud telephony system, since it is a one-time install, it is not a subscription-based economy. What typically happens is any new upgrade needs a physical visit, physical hardware installation. I mean, the time and the cost out of that is super
Very
high
high.
compared to a cloud telephony solution. Then most importantly, for which we have taken this webinar into consideration in the first place, that lack of right solutioning or guidance. What all are the compliance? I mean, had it been a hardware system, had it been a standalone system where there is no connect with the industry, that what is happening in the market, what is the latest trend, what all are the TRAI guidelines. Due to this lack of right solutioning and guidance, sometimes mistakenly client fall into the trap of penalties and reputation being damaged, right? Then obviously lack of data security, which goes hand in hand. Whenever there is no integrated system wherein the data exchange is touch free, human intervention free, there is a manual intervention, there could be a possibility of errors or data security concern, right? Then traditional cold calling by counselor is one of the big problems in many institutions. What typically happens, Antariksh, I'm sure you must be getting the feedback from other customer success teams also. Traditionally, the market data that we acquire from the market, being an education institute, those are given to the telecallers for calling. Now, if you understand this situation, I have 50 lakh of data with me, and I'm telling Antariksh and team of 5 to call on every such phone number that is not lead practically and generate intent out of it. How frustrating it would be. Imagine a kind of a situation, and that is happening till now. Why? Predominantly because there is no solution available, no alternate solution available, to be precise. So that is one problem statement. Then spam tagging is one of the most common. I'm sure the audience would agree with us. I mean, I can already see 2-3 comments are coming up in sync with this, that I have the scam tagging, I have the this disintegrated telephony problem. We'll be covering, sir, we will be covering these for sure during our subsequent slide. What happens is, if you send, call from one number to 1,000, 2,000, 50,000 people, obviously the number becomes spam. All your calling efforts after spamming goes in vain because people disconnect the call. So your opportunity is getting missed, your efforts are getting wasted, and in a way the acquisition cost is going wasted, right? Then unable to prioritize leads to call. So if you have a standalone system, if you do not have a telephony system which is tightly coupled with any lead centralization system that you will be using, right? Then you won't be able to prioritize your top 100, top 50, top 30 calls, which probably lead to a conversion. We need to understand this, right? Out of 5,000, 10,000 leads, which 10 I need to call? That trigger should be given from the system which is managing the entire lead, right? Basis on the intent, flags, right? Candidate intent and those parameters which must be available in your lead centralized system. If it is not, it is a scary situation to have, right? And lack of consent management, I'm sure you are the best person, Antrish, to give a brief about it. How does it work and what is the implication?
On an ongoing basis, our customers are reaching out to us, educational institutes are reaching out to us. They are mentioning that they have received a DND complaint, how they can answer the DND complaint, how they can answer to operator, how they can prove that this particular consent was captured. So there are a lot of things going on ground, which is very serious. People are doing cold calling on raw data, which is not allowed. People are doing cold calling via 7
consent, people are calling, Antrish. Without a proper consent, people are calling. Right now, there is probably no implication, but subsequently, it will be a severe implication. The situation is actually scary until unless you are aware how to navigate through this.
Right. And they are not taking the consent. And without consent, any kind of legal action can be taken up against the institute, which has already been happened. And we are going to uncover that what kind of actions have been taken up. So lack of consent management is a serious concern.
True.
Now, second is the low call connectivity. Imagine a scenario, my 100 telecallers are sitting in a room and they are dialing every day 200 calls per telecaller, and out of 200 calls, only 50 are connected. So they will be demotivated, their counselor productivity will be negative, they will not be performing at par. So these kind of challenges happen because of low call connectivity. People are still using 080 CLI. 080 CLI is the Bangalore CLI, which has the lowest call connectivity ratio. They don't know how they can scale the call connectivity, which is a big challenge. They are not getting the right kind of solutioning from the telephony systems or their telephony partners, and they are not able to solve their current challenges. Dependency on one telephony system.
True. Actually, Antrix, on this note, many people are actually spending a hefty amount on telephony system, but they don't know these technicalities that 180 CLI number is not have a lowest call connectivity. They're spending, but the desired ROI is not coming. That is also a kind of lack of probably knowledge or guidance from the technical partners or the service providers who they have onboarded. That is making the all the effort and kind of investment that being a head of the institution we are making into vain. That is another situation. We get it more often.
Right. Actually, many of the people are even placing their DIDs on the website. And when the DID is placed on the website, they are putting the entire dependency on one telephony system. They are having one partnership, and based on one partnership, they are going having the contract on an annual basis. And in case the system is down, their calling system sitting idle. So these are the serious challenges. They are using mobile phone based calling. So mobile SIM based calling, which is not even legal, using the GSM or using personal mobile numbers to call students in case they are getting some D&D complaints, in case it is impacting their brand reputation. So there is a lot of things on stake. Not only the brand reputation, their entire admission cycle is on stake. Let's assume that the calling team is not able to do the calling for the next 3 days. So for 3 days, none of the leads will be nurtured, none of the activities will happen. So imagine the kind of
Queries will be remain unanswered. The queries, the high intent leads queries will be unanswered. The prospects won't be knowing whom to reach out to. Imagine the kind of a brand reputation impact that will happen. And mobile SIM based calling is not allowed. But people has a conception that if it is my personal number, anyway, I'm calling Antrix. Antrix is known to me. Then I can call to any lead also. So if you can elaborate quickly 1 minute on this, why you mentioned this categorically for our partners.
They are exposing the data of students, all the leads which they are generating via marketing campaigns, their outbound campaigns, everything, exposing to all the telecallers, and they are sharing the Excel sheet to telecallers so that they can do calling or do some kind of in-app calling. And this is how everything is on stake. There is no personalized student experience. Imagine a student is dialing an incoming call without any IVR. There is no welcome message because they are dialing the personal mobile number. They are not able to connect with the agent. In case the agent is busy, the call cannot be transferred to another agent because it's a personal mobile number. So there is a lack of personalized student experience because the telephony system is either the telephony system is not in place, or in case it is in place, then it is not integrated. They are not able to get the personalized experience. They are not able to get the right kind of productive counseling. Important part is many of the edtech educational institutes who want the international calling functionality, they are not able to explore. So we have all these ground challenges which we have noted across multiple regions in India and abroad, and we are going to discover what is the disruption going on in upcoming slides.
I mean, the list is long, I think, Antrish, the way you are saying it is not ends here in this slide.
Yeah.
But we have this to our audience. We are talking about ground challenges. We will be talking about the TRAI guidelines. But be rest assured, by after 3-4 slides, we'll be giving solution to all the problem statements that we are making here.
Right. So let's hear from the audience itself that we have listed the 14 long challenges which exist.
We have kept it in 4 or 5. I think.
So what is the major challenge? Is it the lack of integration? Is it non-compliant, frequent disruptions during call, or high dropouts? Let's check.
What do you think, Antrix? What will be the highest count according to you?
I think frequent disruptions during call as well as high dropout rates. These two will be the leading one in my assumption.
High dropout rates, I also think, is the highest. Let's see. I mean, how the audience responds to it.
Yeah.
But this is actually good. The kind of 16, 14 problem statements giving the same solution that our integrated system in place should be crucial.
Right.
Absolutely.
An audience must have taken the screenshot so that they can check mark that yes, this problem exists in my
I
setup.
have taken a screenshot for sure, Antariksh. I'll be sending to my partner institutes. This is a consolidated list for them for a quick reference that whenever you are going ahead with, kind of any review to with your management, crucial is that you check with the team whether they have these kind of all these problem statements are mitigated, whatever system that you're using, doesn't matter. As long as all these problem statements are getting solved, right?
And these are not the only 14 challenges. In
Mhm.
upcoming slides, we are going to also uncover that what is the new challenge which is coming up in addition to these 14 listed challenges. So
I
that
think not challenge, the compliance guidelines leading to these challenges. There were some practices to avoid that. TRAI have taken up new guidelines, and that in turn has become a bit challenging for our partner institutes or across all the industry who are using telephony system to navigate through.
right. So call
Yeah.
connectivity, a lot of things. So I think we were
I
almost
think we won. I won. Actually, you gave safe bet on 2. I categorically mentioned the last option will be there.
right.
Great.
So that's the
High
highest.
dropout rates and during follow-up is the highest, number. 50% of people from who have joined the call thinks that high dropout rates during the follow-up is the major pain area. Frequent disruption during the call is another one, 30%, and 10% people think non-compliant with regulation and lack of integration with CRM system. Obviously, lack of integration with CRM system will be lesser because we had the highest number of people who are using integrated systems.
Right. So
Uh,
I think this completely includes the failure of enrollment. So which was the enrollment opportunity does not exist because student might have opted for another institute because he was not able to connect with the right one. So that's the major case. And disruptions during call, obviously we are going to explain in upcoming slides that how call connectivity is a major impact and how you can solve it. So non-compliant with regulations must be those telephony systems which have been curtailed. We are going to explain everything in detail. So, Papai, let's move forward with the upcoming. So, till now, we have mentioned all these challenges, that these challenges already exist in ground since last 3 to 4 years, and they were unanswered. They were not, there was lack of proper guidance, there was lack of proper integrated system, complete solutioning. Now, in addition to that, what are the new TRAI guidelines, which every educational institute needs to be compliant with? So before going on the TRAI guidelines, let's focus on TRAI. So what is TRAI? In India, we have Government of India who is managing the Department of Telecommunications. So Department of Telecommunication manage the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, which is known as TRAI. So Telecom Regulatory Authority of India is a regulatory body who manages the entire SMS and telephony services, compliances, and every actionable in India. So that's a directive body.
Governing body, correct. It's a governing body.
And below TRAI, they have 6 to 7 licensed telecom operator who are officially allowed to do SMS and telephony businesses services in India. Okay, these are the 6 to 7 licensed telecom operators to whom the spectrum is allocated, to whom the mobility rights have been given, to whom they can establish their towers, their networks, and everything. So TRAI is the regulatory authority, and then telecom operators are the licensed players who have the authority to do SMS and telephony services in India and they are directly answerable to the Department of Telecommunication, as well as TRAI. So in India, we have 6 licensed telecom operators: Airtel, Jio, Vodafone, Videocon, BSNL, MTNL, and I think one more. So these are the 6 to 7 major telecom operators, and Airtel, Jio, Vodafone, Videocon, which is also known as Sparkping, these are the leading ones. And from telecom operators, telephony vendors purchase or subscribe the resources as in DID numbers, then you have SIP channels, then you have the connectivity network. Everything has been subscribed to telecom operators, and telephony vendors build an application over it to sell the telephony services or SMS services. So this is the entire structure is. And people, our audience need to know that telephony vendors are companies who do business. And telecom operators are the service providers licensed by the government of India, licensed by TRAI and DOT to do SMS and telephony services. So this is the entire structure is. Now, what are the new regulations by TRAI we are going to uncover here? So these are the 4 major regulations. So Bapai, the first major directive by the TRAI is that they have disconnected the resources of telephony service providers who are making spam calls, and they have blacklisted multiple sender IDs as well. So I think this is a major action.
Major impact. Antariksha, we were reading the news, following the news for some time now. This TRAI guidelines, actually, typically, if you see, I'm sure the audience will be able to relate to it. TRAI has been actually monitoring the the quality of communication and the interest protection for the end user for quite some time now. In this entire initiative, they have came up with the DLT technology, right? Distributed ledger technology, I think, right?
Right.
So through this DLT technology, they came up with the principal entity registration for SMS, wherein the entity needs to be verified valid before you send SMS. Then the header registration came up, then the content registration came up. That means anything and everything that is being consumed by the end user, the consumer, right, has to be vetted, verified, just to avoid the kind of malpractices that are being run, like phishing, like the spam calling, the money related links are being sent. We often get to see these things. To restrict it and create a safer environment for the consumer, TRAI has been working on these regulations. And as rightly mentioned, Antariksh, this spam call blocking, the blacklisting of headers, these are primarily because these institutions either using this spamming with some malicious intent or had the right intent but did not follow the proper protocol. I would like to emphasize on this: not following the proper guideline and protocols, lack of knowledge probably lead to this one. Not all of it, but quite a number of. Yes, it is blacklisted. I mean, imagine kind of blacklisted means the business for that particular entity is almost stopped in terms of communication, right? If you have a steady system, and moreover, if you have only one telephony service provider, right, then your business is stopped. Until unless they resolve their issue, you have to sit and wait with all your resources, 50 resources that are stationed on ground, on standby to engage the prospect, but you cannot do it. You have a gun, the bullet is lost, like that.
Right. And this is the first time. See, so TRAI has already managed and authorized the SMS services. They have already managed the template approval, header approval, and everything is in place for SMS. Now they are heavily focused on telephony, and this is the first time they have taken action. They have taken actions. They have disconnected multiple telephony service providers as well as institutions also. Institutions as in the companies. So this is the first directive from TRAI. Now the second directive is implementation of DLT-based voice solution. So till now, only SMS approval was managed by DLT platform. Now, even the telephony approval will also be managed by DLT platform. In case you want to use a mobile number to initiate any outbound call to the promotional audience who has not given you the consent. So what it means is, in case you want to do an outbound calling on raw data, then you need to get the mobile number approved on the DLT portal, and that mobile number will initiate from 140 series. So that 140 series will be allocated for outbound calling on promotional data, raw data, who has not given you the consent. And this 140 mobile number will be known as voice header. The way we have SMS header, SMS sender ID, now this will be the voice header, voice mobile number, voice DID, which will be starting from 140 series. So this is a new implementation. So Papai, I think this was very common earlier that
I was going to speak to our audience here. Please start noticing, if you have not, for last 10, 15, 20 days, all the pre-recorded voice calls that you used to get, if you are not DND registered, are calling from 140 or 160 numbers. all the payment reminders, all the spam calls, all the credit card calls that we get, all such promotional activity and calls are getting from 140 or 160 number. Earlier, these numbers were mobile-like numbers. So if
Right.
you have noticed, please notice, because probably the vendor who has been appointed is compliant to TRAI, who is engaging you.
Right. So just want to brief to the entire audience again. Outbound calling on raw data, the promotional calls to numbers who have not given you the consent will be dialed only from 140 mobile series. In case you are not dialing from 140 and dialing via any DID or mobile like DID, and you are getting a DND complaint, there is a chance that you will be blacklisted. So we want
Or
to,
there will be a hefty fine also, Antariksha, if not.
right,
Yes.
not a, see, hefty fine can be made in case there is some monetary loss. Any institute or any company can pay it. But in case you are blacklisted, your admission session will be impacted. That which cannot be managed again. So apart from the monetary, the blacklisting is very serious. Imagine your institution is blacklisted from telephony services. How will you do the outbound calling? Your inbound calls will be unanswered. People will not be able to connect with you. Parent will not be able to connect with you, and you will be suffering with unable to connect with any person.
I mean, there is a huge opportunity cost involved in restoring the entire solution, probably migrating to a different vendor, switching to a different solution. In between, the attention span of any prospect is not more than 5-6 hours in this industry. So that might lead to a massive opportunity lost, for sure.
Now, and the third major point is, the third major guideline is, you need to map your 140 voice header, 140 mobile number with the telemarketer. So first of all, you need to register your mobile number on DLT, 140 mobile number on DLT. Second step is, you need to map the mobile number with the telemarketer with whom you are going to do the telephony services. So mobile number acquisition and mapping with the telecaller, both are important. Now imagine you are using 140 number via telephony system, Videocon or Airtel. Then you need to map your mobile number with Airtel or Videocon telemarketer ID so that you can do outbound calling on raw data. So both of these guidelines have been launched. Although 140 registration is allowed and it is mandatory, mapping is still not mandatory. It will be mandatory in few weeks, but that is the best practices should be followed. So this is the third guideline. The fourth is consent requirement. So Bapai, I think consent is very much important.
True, absolutely. I mean, so typically you see whenever there is an offline activity or online activity, the system should have the capability of, generally in offline activity, what people do is the outreach team capture the details of the prospect and get a sign in the consent page that act as a consent, right? And for online digital activities, whenever they are registering themselves as a lead, they have to click on the checkbox, which clearly mentioned that it gives the right to the institution to engage over call or, kind of WhatsApp. Now, this is absolutely fine when there is a lead which is organically generated or through intent it has been generated. Had it been a case wherein we are actually dealing with acquired data, where the person is not typically, aware of the brand, in such cases, we have to be super cautious and we should have a mechanism wherein this spamming or consent related concerns can be addressed through the compliant guideline. Again, it is not a patchwork or band-aid solution. It should be a compliant solution, because when TRAI is giving some of the guidelines, it has given some of the relaxation also. There are ways to engage such leads. We'll be covering that for sure in the live demo section, in the subsequent slides for sure. And to all our audience, I would like to say that the regulations are pretty clear. Having said that, if you feel it's a bit confusing, I'm not able to understand fully, please feel free to reach out to our customer success team. They will be explaining you, guiding you through the processes. But we must ensure that we are compliant through all these guidelines as far as telephony calling is concerned.
Right. In terms of consent, it's a mandatory requirement for all the educational institutes. You need to capture the consent of the student that I allow to receive the promotional and transactional inbound calls. So this particular consent should be captured. The way you are capturing it can be managed differently. So Bapai, we have a very interesting question from Neha ma'am. So Neha ma'am has mentioned that we have an opt-in through OTP. Do we still use 140? Ma'am, see, in case you are doing outbound call on the registered database from whom you have captured the consent, then you can use the mobile like CLIs. That's completely legal.
True.
But
True.
in case either you have not taken the consent, so in case you have not taken the consent, as well as you are doing calling on raw data, then 140 is mandatory. So you have to distinguish between registered database
And the acquired database.
versus unregistered raw data which has been acquired by a third party and you do not have the consent. So non-consent lead should be dialed from 140 in case you have a publisher data. So publisher is taking the consent. Educational institute has not taken the direct consent. So similar cases, you need to take the consent of the student. So I'll request all the audience to keep on posting the questions so that we can answer them.
Right.
Right. So these are regulations are very much clear, Bapaya, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. We can carry on with the next set of things that people need to be aware. What all are the crackdowns and in case of violation? This is something we have categorically mentioned so that we can understand what could be an implication, as we mentioned.
So the major crackdown has happened. So I want to be very serious, Bapai. See, 52 companies, including telephony vendors as well as the end users who was using the telephony system, they were completely blacklisted for violating anti-spam regulations and their telecom resources have been cut down. Imagine 22,75,000 telephony lines were cut down, their SIP lines were not allowed and they are sitting idle. So I do not want to name them in public because that will be not right. But out of top 4 telephony service providers, 4 are down. So top 4 telephony
Yes,
providers
and
who were
Antariksh, TRAI absolutely have zero tolerance against this. That is what probably Antariksh was also trying to say. Please understand, 50 companies were blacklisted, out of which 4 of them were telephony service provider themselves. So you can understand how severe can be the implications.
yeah,
Even the telephony service provider who are not compliant will see the consequences if not maintained with the TRAI guideline.
yeah, Papa, I just want to add here. So actual number is 52 companies have been blacklisted. Out of 52, which have been even mentioned in the public notice by TRAI, 52 companies have been blacklisted. Out of 52, majority of them are telephony service providers, telephony vendors. Okay. And a few companies as well. One is a major bank in India, okay, whose outbound services have been stopped because they were selling credit card directly. Additionally, out of the majority telephony service providers, 2 are the leading one in India. And this is the reason an educational institute should not depend on a local telephony service provider because we do not know whether they are following the ethical practices, whether they are having the data security compliance, or whether they are not having everything in place. So this is the major impact. 52 companies are blacklisted. Out of top 4, 2 are down, and many of the NPF Meritto educational institutes are also not able to dial calls. You are receiving the calls on a daily basis from those kind of customers who are using such and such telephony system. Now, the second key takeaway for educational institute is you need to be proactive with the compliances. See, in case your admission system is not able to, your telecalling team is not able to do outbound call. In case your student is dialing an incoming call and it is not reaching out to the desired telecallers, then how will the admission progress? How will be the enrollments done? In case your edtech is not able to connect with the students who are interested in a particular course or some enrollment program, how will your enrollments be completed? How will you generate the paid applications? So the second major key takeaway is being compliant with TRAI compliances is a mandatory requirement for everyone. It is not optional. कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है, you have to do it. So that's the major second takeaway. The third is, obviously, we have already explained that the blacklisted means immediate loss of access to student outreach admissions calls. Neither your outbound calls are going, nor your incoming calls are going. Many of the customers located in Bangalore, located in Greater Noida, or in Hyderabad. So we have multiple locations, even Guwahati. So people are not able to dial the outbound calls, incoming calls, because their telephony system is down, and telephony vendor is not picking their calls because they do not have the answer, what to answer them. They are just waiting or in a hope that everything will be done right. But that particular restriction is for 6 months. Imagine that restriction is for 6 months.
That is what the entire admission season is all about for higher ed. If it is
Right.
for 6 months, then probably we are too early for the next academic session, is what we can say. I mean, if it is down for 6 months.
Right. So I think we have two questions here. The first one is from Mukta ma'am. So Mukta ma'am has mentioned that if possible, please share the to-do list with the possible use cases. Ma'am, in upcoming slide, we are going to share the checklist to ensure that before onboarding any telephony vendor, what should be the checklist so that you can select them. So we are going to share a complete checklist that please check these features are available, these compliances are available because before onboarding any telephony vendor. So we are going to uncover it. Second is from the Himalaya sir. Himalaya sir has mentioned, do we also need to get our mobile like DID approved, registered for the consent? So sir, till now, mobile like DID approval is not mandatory. It is not required. Only outbound call on raw data must be done with 140 series mobile number. So only raw data calling without any consent calling needs the 140 consent, 140 voice header approval. It is not for the registered database with consent. I hope this question is answered. Third is from
Neha ma'am has asked, in your view, who is the most compliant telephony service provider? So ma'am, let us tell you, there is no particular telephony provider that is compliant. I mean, everyone who is TRAI registered, who is coming under proper, kind of telephony operators, as we mentioned, the 6 of them, they are all are good. Having said that, some of them are already pre-integrated, are being used in multiple institutions. Some are apparently new, probably we need to get it checked. But there is no good or bad of it. The checklist that we have shared, you need to check with those telephony vendors whether all these services are available. In the subsequent slide, we will be showing you the ready checklist. Before reviewing any telephony service provider, you need to check that simple checklist. I would recommend you take the screenshot of it and post call. You can reach out to our customer success manager designated to you, and they can give you the checklist, which is a ready reckoner for you, that which all are the features that must be there in any telephony service provider, right? By the end of the PPT, I think you will get your answer for sure, ma'am.
Sure. Thank you for the explanation, Babai. Now, the conclusion is based on the ground challenges, based on the TRAI regulations, we can conclude that having the right telephony system with the right call connectivity ratio and TRAI compliance is mandatory for every educational institute, whether it is in higher education or edtech or study abroad or coaching or any kind of K-12 organization. So this is all about the TRAI regulations, and these are the ground challenges and the compliances which have been launched. What is the impact on violators? Now we will be discussing on that what should be the best way forward for your outreach strategy, how you can get yourself compliant with the TRAI guidelines, how you can choose the best telecom operator, best telephony service provider. So these are the major questions we are going to answer in upcoming slides. So first of all, as you know that the cloud telephony is a system which allows you the voice communication between the educational organization and student hosted on cloud, experience delivering an in-person experience. A human-to-human connect is very important. See, via email, SMS, WhatsApp, and Amplify, you can nurture a lead, you can create awareness, you can create an engagement with the student. But to build a trust, but to build a confidence in a student so that he can convert into a 100% enrollment, a personal human touch is very much required, and cloud telephony answer that. Now, So what should be the way forward? This is the checklist of the ideal cloud telephony system, which is very much required for every educational institute. So this is a checklist. I think Neha ma'am, Himalaya sir, and Mukta
Yes.
ma'am answered that question. So this is your answer, sir, ma'am. That these checklists you can maintain. You can take a screenshot that whether your telephony service provider have these all features available. So Bapai, see, you are guiding educational institutes in last 5 years in Meritto and managing all those clients even in North also earlier. So please explain what are the leading features required in industry.
Right. I mean, I'm sure like Neha ma'am, others also thinking what is the best telephony service provider. So rather than going by a brand, we recommend that these are the standard feature every telephony vendor who is in the market must have. Because reason being, these are directly related to the education industry's business. First is the outbound click to call feature. So whichever system that you are using, that telephony system should be closely integrated with that so that you click on that button and the call gets initiated. You do not have to toggle between two systems. That is number one. Inbound call flow, like in outbound, you should have a mechanism wherein the display number on your banner or everywhere, wherever you are putting that number, anyone calls that on that number, that call automatically get routed to your system. And if the lead already exists, it will ring to the respective assigned counselor. If not, then the lead will be created and then call will be assigned to a counselor. Third is interactive voice response, which is IVR. Suppose one display number that is shown for an institution or edtech institution, there could be many courses, there could be many departments. I mean, admission team, then there is a probably training and placement team, the existing student might call. So we always get an interactive voice response, which actually gives the consumer option to talk, select the proper channel through which they want to land to the designated counselor. So if it is admission, press 1. If it is training and placement, press 2. Like that capability should be there. That nested voice response capability should be there.
Additionally, this also delivers a personalized experience. So say I am dialing a call to a particular institution located in Delhi. It is an edtech. So it will mention that welcome to this and this. We are launching our this particular program. Press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 3 for this. This is the batch going on. So every kind of personalized brand experience is also delivered to the student.
In fact, calling agent management is also an important part of it. So calling agent management means how many teams, hierarchy wise, which call will be led to which system. That capability should be there in the telephony system itself. Call recording, as the name suggests, this is the basic feature that all the call conversations should be available into the system. And if it is pre-integrated, should be available in the CRM also for quick.
Adding to the call recording part, see, so we have already mentioned the TRAI guidelines earlier. One additional part which TRAI has launched is, in case a D&D complaint has been registered by a student, then educational institute will need to submit the recording of the student that they were already in touch. So this display the importance of cloud call recordings. In case you are using the personal mobile number, how you will arrange the call recording. So call recordings are also required for the TRAI guidelines also, so that you can sufficient the complaint. You can close the D&D complaint which has been registered against the educational institute.
Right. Then progressive campaign dialing. So this is the most used feature. Let me tell you, Andresh, we have been working with many institutions. This is the most loved feature probably by the telephony, provided by the telephony services. Progressive campaign dialing simply means, suppose imagine a situation that I have 500 such leads who have started their application and have not paid yet. And I want to ensure all such high intent leads are getting nurtured by my counselor over a phone. So rather than directing my counseling team to call them, I can put that entire list into a progressive dialing. What will happen? The telephony system will start calling one after another basis on available agents or counselors. One call will be connected to the counselor, second call will be connected to the first candidate. Once conversation ends, second call will be directed. If the agents are there or already available, simultaneous such calls will be directed. So all such auto nurturing mechanism. This will optimize your calling feature. This will actually help you optimize your resources also. Similarly, predictive campaign dialing is a bit intelligence out of the progressive campaign dialing layer, wherein basis on the availability of the agent and the total pool of data, the telephony service provider automatically assigns the calls so that the agents are optimally utilized.
Right. So the call ratio maintained is 3:1. In the predictive dialing, in case there is a one agent, then 3 outbound calls will be initiated.
So that there is no way that the agent is sitting idle and your man hours are getting optimally utilized. Then
Right.
mobile phone-based calling system, as the many a time I'm sure the audience would also agree that people do not have a web access to the system. So the mobile app version of the CRM or the system that you're using should be well integrated with the telephony. So while calling from your mobile also, the call should get routed through telephony, not from your mobile number or dialer. That is a game changer. This is a feature available with all premium, well-known brands, the telephony service provider. Those who are pre-integrated or integrated with CRM, these features are available, but this is a must check while you are onboarding any telephony. Then soft phone web RTC based calling system, wherein, imagine a 100 people calling team, in especially used in EdTech or in a study abroad kind of or coaching center kind of an ecosystem, wherein rather than the hard phone on which you're calling, you're on the screen, you get the dialer, you can start dialing one after another. That is another flexibility. By default, this feature should be there. Call analytics, the entire utility of keeping a pre-integrated system is the outbound, inbound, call duration, call quality. All these things are readily available, right, Antariksh? Like agent productivity analysis, I think you have been working closely on this aspect. If you can give us a brief.
Right. Even you can see that the agent productivity report, which is integrated with Meritto, you can check that which particular agent is on call, which particular agent is doing most of the calls, are the calls routed in equal numbers, is the desired ratio falling in, is the call load distributed equally among agents, is the productivity done in right way. So these all analytics is in place. Obviously, CRM integration is must, and that's a mandatory part. 100% data security should be there. Your telephony service provider should having the data security certificates. It is, see, one most important part is data security does not only mean that ISMS certification of 27,001 or something. It includes other certification as well. Do you have the SOC 1, SOC 2 compliance? Do you have the other compliances which in place? So do you have the GDPR compliances? So there are a lot of compliances, and all those compliances are in place. Is the telephony service provider reputed one? Is it answerable to TRAI and the DOT? So these all data security perspective should be there. Call quality monitoring is also important. See, call barge in, call whispering, monitoring the audit quality of the call. And there are some advanced features also available. So there are some third-party service providers which integrate with the telephony system. It is not, sometimes few of the features are available with the telephony system itself. Other than that, there are some advanced functionality which is integrated with the telephony system, and you can monitor the recording quality. You can monitor the recordings and check the intent of the lead. So these are the advanced features, and this is a complete checklist for the educational institute that what all features should be there, and it should be integrated with the CRM which you are using.
True. I think that answers all the questions, related to which telephony service provider is most compliant and all. All these checklists, if your telephony service provider is giving all these features, then probably we can go ahead with that. That is a yes, and ensure that is pre-integrated with your CRM. Otherwise, it's a standalone system again. Even after investing, the efforts will remain the same. There will be an opportunity cost, as we mentioned in the first slide also. It has to be integrated.
Right. So this is the first checklist which mentioned that what all features should be in place with the telephony service provider. There will be second checklist which will be upcoming in the next slides, which includes that what all TRAI compliance should be in place so that your telephony service provider is TRAI compliant. So that checklist will be up in the upcoming slides. Now let's move forward for the uninterrupted telephony services. So we at Meritto offers both of the telephony solutions. We have our telephony connector in place, wherein you can bring your own telephony service provider. You can bring your own telephony system, which is having all the features compliant with the checklist, which is having all the data security compliance, TRAI compliances. Or the next option is you can opt for blended telephony services via Meritto. So what blended telephony service offers is it offers a direct integration with the telecom operator. So we at Meritto have not only done partnerships with the telephony vendors, we have made our partnership with the telecom operator itself. So as I have mentioned,
What
that
directly governed by the TRAI actually.
yeah,
So
so
we
that
have the TRAI and then telephony operators and then telephony vendors, right? Antariksh, if we can recall the pyramid again, right?
Yeah, correct. So so telecom operators are directly answerable to DOT and TRAI. Telephony vendors are answerable to operators. So we have a direct integration with telecom operators. In case you want more details, you can reach out to your customer success manager, sales managers, and they will be explaining you, giving you the complete consultancy. We have a hybrid call center solution integrated with us. So when we mention a hybrid call center solution, it allows both kind of calling services, soft phone calling as well as hard phone calling. Let's say you are sitting in a place where mobile network is down today, so you can opt for soft phone calling by a single configuration. In case the internet network is not functioning today, then you can opt for hard phone calling via mobile phone, and both of the options are available in the single system. You just need to toggle off and toggle on a button. So that's the hybrid call center solution, deeply integrated with the advanced features. I think, Papai, you have already explained it.
Right.
Outbound click-to-call integration. So, Papai, just give a brief of the outbound inbound campaign dialer via Meritto, please.
Right. So what typically happens, we have come up with a blended telephony solution, as Antriksh also mentioned, wherein our partners do not have to go into the hassle of finding the right telephony partner and all. All these integrations with multiple telephony vendors and operator has been done by Meritto. There are few benefits. First thing, what I would say is there is no downtime, typically because multiple vendors are integrated. See, even one service is down, internally it can be switched over to another service. So for the end user, which is institute in this case, do not suffer any business impact on account of any operators, any vendors disruption. If it is already deeply integrated and developed within the system itself, that is why all the leads available in the Meritto platform can be connected with a single click available in the CRM itself. Inbound calls are automatically landing to your agents who are using the mobile app. They can connect the call. Even if they are sitting on a desktop, they can receive the call and the lead will be created in the Meritto CRM and also automatically assigned to the caller who have picked up the call. And
right.
Yeah.
So we will have a detailed demo as well in the upcoming session. In itself, we are going to deep dive and explain all these features in detail. Now, in terms of high call connectivity, the major advantage of working directly with the telecom operator is all of the CLIs, all of the DID options are available. So 080, which is Bangalore CLI, 731, which is Bhopal CLI, 739, which is Ahmedabad, 0172 Chandigarh, 0186 Bathinda, 846 Vijayawada, 866 Guntur. So all these CLI options, all these DID options are available with the telecom operator. In case you want to subscribe for such kind of DIDs, you can reach out to your customer success manager. We can help you out that how this can help you with the high call connectivity. See, Bapai, just want to give you an example. See, we are receiving an incoming call and the call start with 080. We have impression that this is a promotional call.
Mobile-like number. True.
Yeah, that's a promotional call. So 80 CLI has the lowest reputation. So the best practice for all the educational institutes is you should opt for 731, 739, 0172, 0186 CLIs.
Correct.
CLI should be least preferred because Bangalore CLI, most of the telephony service providers are based in Bangalore and they are only providing 80 CLIs. So 80 CLI has the lowest call connectivity. You should opt for CLIs like 731, 0182, 0186, which are listed over the screen. Now, I think due to bundled service. See, we have made our partnership with the telecom operator having, large field of users. So what it offers, since we have a larger user base, we have received a better costing, and same better costing can be offered to you. So we are passing on the benefit from the telecom operator directly to the end customer, which is the educational institute, so that they can have the right product with the right services, which is TRAI compliant at the right costing. So it can help you to get the right ROI of the marketing campaign, telephony campaign. Now, in terms of flexibility, see, we have multiple telephony partnerships. And in case one of the system is impacted, we can shift you from one telephony system to another telephony system without any additional cost, without any operational cost. We are going to manage everything at the back end, and that allows you a flexibility. So, Papai, I think majority of the institutions are still using single telephony system, right?
Right. Correct. Standalone telephony systems are being used, but obviously from a individual institute standpoint, doesn't make any sense to integrate with multiple ones.
Right. But in case we have this option available in terms of Meritto CRM functionality, we have a multi-vendor functionality where multiple telephony systems can be integrated in one entity. That functionality is in place. You can subscribe for it. Additionally, we offer the blended telephony in which subscribing at a user cost, your user will be managed effectively independent of the telephony system. So in case the telephony system is impacted, we are going to shift you on the other system. So this gives you a multi-system dependency rather than a one system dependency, keeping you on risk. Okay, easy refunds as in, see, what happened in telephony industry, let's say you have signed a contract for 1 year. So I remember, Bapai, along with you, we have a customer in Northeast who have signed the, I think, 3 years deal with some telephony service provider. And due to a 3-year deal, they were not able to change the telephony system because they have given the entire...
Because the payment was done in advance and all. That typically happens multi-year deal may. Even if the service is not as desired, since just because there is a deal or there is a payment that has been made in advance, they could not switch to a better solution.
Right. So with Meritto, in case you are subscribing to blended telephony and after even 30 days, you feel that this service is not more required, you can opt for a refund. We will easily refund your amount in terms of email, SMS, WhatsApp credit.
Other consumable can be altered, right, Antariksh? I mean, it can be shifted by other consumable which are being used in Meritto through email adjustments.
We will not be stuck. See, we are your CRM partner. Our main primary product is the CRM product only. So we will allow you all the options. In case you want a refund of the entire 1 year, entire 3 year, we are here to give you that. In case you need a service, use it. In case you do not need a service, opt out of it. So both of the options are available. Obviously, better enterprise class services and telephony service support are available. Advanced call analytics are available. International calling is also available. So international calling has a separate system. It has separate engagement in terms of commercials as well as API integration. So that's a separate functionality altogether. And amplify on raw data. So this was the major part which I was mentioning. See, let's say you have a call center team and have 50 lakhs call data. Now 50 lakhs raw data needs to be nurtured to create demand out of it, create a leads out of it. Who are the intentional leads? So we have a system-based raw data nurturing product, which is known as Amplify. So Amplify helps you to nurture raw data via system-based calling and create leads out of it. So that's a completely available product to you. You can use Amplify on raw data, in which outbound call on promotional raw data will be done via 140 mobile series. It is 100% compliant with TRAI. It has the highest call connectivity ratio, as well as you will get the desired ROI. So you can use it and experience the kind of ROI you are getting out of it. So Amplify on raw data allows you the outbound call using 140 CLIs on raw data, so that you can gather registered database, you can gather consent-based leads, and then you can use the telephony system. Amplify on lead manager also allows you to pass on the information. So these are the options available with Meritto. But Bapai, the most important part is time to see all it in action. See, this was the entire theory which we have displayed. What is the checklist for telephony systems? What is the checklist for the blended telephony? What are the features available? Let's see in action, and then we will discover that what are the TRAI checklist to onboard any telephony partner. So that is the upcoming one after the demo. So Papai, I hope my screen is available.
Yeah, it's visible now.
So this is the demo institute test IN6 infra. This is on the staging environment. And in the staging environment, this is a demo institute. 1 second. Let me go into the lead manager. And this is the demo tech. So these are the two demo accounts on the staging environment, and Bapai, your lead is created. I'm going to demonstrate that how outbound call will be initiated using from the system, how everything will be done.
Right.
So I'm initiating an outbound call.
So the button is available in the screen itself, right?
Right.
You can see.
So I think the call has been received on my phone. I have received the call. Let me know in case you have received the same.
Yes, I have received the call now.
Hope my voice is audible.
Yeah, your voice is clearly audible here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, right. So this is how we have initiated the outbound call from the Meritto interface, which is integrated. This is the blended telephony and the cloud telephony integrated with Meritto. And then after the call is done, you can see the call recording is in place. Okay.
Right.
So this is how the outbound calling, outbound click to call functionality is available. You can directly initiate outbound call from the system. Now to experience the inbound call, Papai, please do an inbound call from the
So I'm calling on the same number from which I have received the call as a consumer behavior. If I call back into this number, I'll just put my phone on speaker.
A groundbreaking operating system for student recruitment and enrollment, equipping educational organizations worldwide. Trusted and utilized by over 1,000 educational organizations, is the de facto choice for all to fuel enrollment growth. Please hold the line. We are connecting your call to a representative. Call.
Right.
Hello.
You picked up the call.
Yeah. So Papai, the call is connected. Thank you. I hope the call quality is good.
Yes, it was clearly visible, and the recording that we just listened to is the IVR that we were referring in the previous discussion also, that even when the candidate is actually waiting on a call, they should get that brand visibility from their perspective, right? So
Right.
that's super critical.
Yeah, everything is available. Call start time, call end time, status. So everything is available here.
Right.
You can see recording in place. So complete outbound and inbound integration is done. And this is the mobile phone based hard phone calling using the telephony system. In case you want to opt for the soft phone calling, that option is also available. So I want to explain that particular option also before moving on the TRAI compliances. So this is a quick demo. So let's say this is the test lead and you are opting for system-based soft phone solution. Then you have this iframe available in the Meritto platform itself. You can open this iframe, and on the iframe, you can select the, login into the option to have the single sign-on.
Right.
So this is how the interface will look like. You can do outbound calling from the system itself. And this is the iframe which is available. So I think both the inbound and outbound solutioning have been explained. You can do the campaign dialog also, using which you can select leads in bulk and then send it into the telephony campaign.
So we will filter the prospect leads and push to the telephony campaign so that the desired fine-tuned set of leads get pushed to a campaign list and automatically calling starts, right, Antariksh?
Right. So you can select the leads in bulk and send it to the campaign. You can have both type of campaigns, progressive campaigns as well as predictive campaigns. So these are the major features. And in case you want to do for the, you want to have the amplify on raw data, then that option is also available, in which just a second.
You know what is the best part of this entire demo, Antariksh? We do not have to navigate to any telephony system. All the pages that you're referring is of Meritto's own page. Since it is pre-integrated, you can do all the activities, bulk voice broadcast, or kind of communication, engagement, everything can be done through CRM only. You do not have to navigate through different systems, right?
Right. In case you want to do the raw data system-based calling using 140 mobile series, you can opt for the email, SMS, WhatsApp, Amplify, all are integrated here. You can select the promotional campaign. Then you can check that what is the credit limit available. You have a credit limit of these many rupees. So these many rupees of call pulses are available. Then you can select the campaign, that it is the DTMF input based campaign, number of retries as in the 3 retries. You can select the interval between 2 unsuccessful attempts. In case this attempt is not successful, there will be a retry after 30 minutes. And you can create a lead automatically after, in case the user selected 1, 2, 3, whatever option you want to. So this is how you can do and select campaign. You can do the promotional and amplifier. Recording will be available to play to check that what is the call recording. Thank you for calling Meritto. This is the recording file. And you can demonstrate to the end users. You can send it in masses. So this is how you can do amplify.
That is where the raw data engagement will be automated rather than counselor cold calling that we are referring in slide 1. We can send this pre-recorded voice to our acquired data, and if they are interested and presses 1, automatically the lead will be created in the system, and then they can actually become a lead and come to the original lead engagement flow that we showed earlier.
Yeah, so we have a question from Himalaya sir. Himalaya sir has mentioned that we also do AI-based calling on the to have the KYC of parent and child. Is there any guideline? So Himalaya sir, you have mentioned a question that you are doing AI-based calling to get the KYC of a student. Obviously, you can have the telephony calling on student via bot. Bot-based calling is allowed, but only to those students who have given you the consent to receive an inbound call. So consent of the student is very much required. And second is, it should be a registered database. Obviously, in case someone is giving you a consent, it should be registered database only. That is the most important criteria. And AI-based calling has a lot of advantages, but the major disadvantage is that it has very high cost. You must be paying 3 rupees, 4 rupees, 5 rupees per minute. So when so the cost involved in that KYC is very high. In case you want to get the right ROI, in case you want to get the right attribution, then you should always shift on the voice call based nurturing from any partner, whether it can be via Meritto or it can be any third party. So we have our amplifier which do the same action item, which can generate leads out of raw data. It can nurture raw data also. They can validate the KYC of the student also. All those actions can be done. But the difference between amplifier and bot is bot has a very high cost involved, which does not deliver the right kind of ROI. 5 rupees per minute, 3 rupees per minute is a very high cost. Here with Meritto, it's a very simple system with the low costing in Paisa. So we charges in Paisa for 30-second duration. So this is the major difference. I hope that answers your question. Another question is from Rajesh sir. He has mentioned that can I have a demo? Obviously, sir, you can have a detailed demo from your customer success manager.
So after this call, our customer success team will definitely get in touch with you in terms of the demonstration, sir, for sure, right?
Yeah. So thank you so much for the allowing us for the demo. Let's go again and present on the next action items. So what are the best practices of telephony implementation? Bapai, see DID number on institute website. This is very much important. Can you explain?
Many institutions suffered this due to this. They didn't know, and DID number masking with institute website number is super critical, so that all your institute website number calls are actually landing into the CRM, getting pre-integrated. No leads are getting lost, and that number which you are hosting on your website has to be of your own number. You should own that number rather than any telephony service provider. Primarily reason being the telephony service provider might change, but if the number does not belong to you, then you always will have a dependency on some service provider. So ideally that number should be with you, and call forwarding should be enabled on the DID number, whichever telephony service you are using.
Right. You should be placing institute mobile number on the website and it should be forwarded to the DID. That's what Bapai want to explain. Now, in terms of call prioritization, we have already explained amplify on raw data for lead creation, how it should using 140 series. Information alerts, you can have amplify on lead manager as well, so that you can send on-time information to students. Like, thank you for registering on the website. Thank you for initiating the application form. Last day for the application form is this. In case you are interested in course this, please do this. In case you are interested in chemistry course, please do this. So you can send alerts on the lead manager also. Incoming IVR flow and call routing is very much important. multiple CLI options to scale the call connectivity. We have already demonstrated that not only the Bangalore CRIs, that the traditional one having low connectivity, we have 731 Indore, 739 Ahmedabad, 846 Vijayawada, 866 Guntur, 0172 Chandigarh, 0186 Bhatinda. All those CLI options are available. In case you want any additional DID also, you can subscribe to it. We have the hybrid call center solutioning available. So these are the best practices. You can take a screenshot of it. In case you want a detailed description, you can reach out to your customer success managers who are going to explain each and every part to you. Now, Bapai, the most important part, that what should be the checklist for the TRAI guidelines. So essential compliance checklist to onboard telephony partners. I think this was the slide which our audience was asking for in the chat. Multiple questions were also raised, that how they can ensure that their telephony system is TRAI compliant. So this is the checklist, that the first major point is verify telephony system compliance. So ensure that your telephony system adheres to TRAI regulations for continuous interrupted telephony calling. So the line itself explains everything, whether your telephony system is informing you what are the recent guidelines, what is the best practices, what are the CLIs available, how the 140 registration is done. So these compliances should be informed to you. Is your telephony partner proactive enough to inform you these checklists? That is the first criteria. The second is the user consent to call. Bapai has already explained that the capture student consent is important. You need to have the student consent so that you can dial outbound call and student can receive incoming call from the education institute for counseling purposes, reviewing the telecom protocols. So your institute should be aligned with the latest TRAI guidelines like DLT registration and all those parts. You have to check, you can have the documentation of TRAI, which have everything mentioned in detail. So partnering with TRAI compliant regulations is important. Conducting regular audits. So audit as in how many calls have been dialed on raw data using 140 series, or is there any call by mistake which have been dialed by a mobile number like DID? So you have these audits in place. So counselor training, Bapai, that's the very important part. Can you explain this part as well?
So, I mean, as the name suggests, educate your telecaller teams on the new regulation is super critical. When we see educating them, which leads to be connected from which CLI numbers, whether raw data should not, raw data calling should be avoided, leverage the, amplify the voice recording solution for the raw data calling, use or leverage the campaign dialing feature for the engagement of the topmost cream of your entire pool, so that these call prioritization, conversation, CLI number selection, these should be clearly communicated to our telecallers, because they are the end users. They are actually using the platform to connect with them. Ensure that consent is there for the lead for which they are calling. This is super critical to avoid any kind of implication on on account of the TRAI new regulations.
Right. So, Bapai, we have a question from Mukesh sir. He is mentioning that how can I opt for blended telephony? So, Bapai, I think you are from the customer success side. Please answer that.
Right. So, in case of blended telephony solution, sir, our customer success team can reach out to you, or you can actually reach out to your designated customer success manager. They will be scheduling a demo. You check that in your system as per your convenience, and post that we can take that system live for sure. Be rest assured, after this call, all of our audiences, I can see quite a few inquiries coming up about the blended telephony solution. Our respective customer success team will be reaching out to you to give you a demonstration as per your convenience.
Yeah. So I think this checklist is done, and we are completely, you can take a screenshot of it so that for your future references.
We will take a 10-second pause, just you get the time to take that screenshot.
Right.
And thank you so much for kind of being a patient audience.
Right. So effective communication is the key, and all kind of communication channels, all the student touch points should be nurtured, whether it is an email, SMS, WhatsApp, amplifier, telephony, all the channels of communication have their own importance, and telephony play a pivotal role in building a human connection, building a personal touch, and as well as trust and confidence with the student. So that's the importance, and you just need to apply the checklist of telephony system as well as TRAI compliances, so that you can have right system in place.
So, as our conversation draws to a close, I appreciate the valuable insights shared by both of you, Babai and Antrich. So, while our discussion has been insightful and engaging, I understand the importance of respecting your time. So, let's conclude our webinar here, reflecting on the enriching perspectives exchange. Thank you to our audiences for joining us today. Your engagement is what makes Illuminate by Meritto a valuable experience. We look forward to seeing you in our upcoming webinars, as you can see on the screen. So you can visit www.meritto.com/illuminate to register any of the webinar that you feel that resonates with you. And until then, thank you and continue to drive excellence in education. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone. Thank you.